Ferdinand Emmanuel Ferdinand Marcos Sr. was a Filipino politician and lawyer who served as the 10th President of the Philippines from 1965 to 1986. He was born on September 11, 1917, in Surat, Ilocos Norte, Philippines, to Mariano Marcos and Josefa Ferdinand. Marcos began his political career in 1949 when he was elected to the Philippine House of Representatives. In 1959, he became the Senate President, the highest position in the Philippine Senate. In 1965, he won the presidential election, defeating incumbent President Diosdado Macapagal. During his presidency, Marcos implemented various programs aimed at modernizing and developing the Philippines. He launched the Green Revolution, which aimed to increase agricultural productivity, and established several infrastructure projects, such as the North Luzon Expressway and the Philippine Heart Center. He also introduced various economic policies, such as the Masagana 99 program, which aimed to boost rice production. In 1983, opposition leader Benigno Aquino Jr. was assassinated at Manila International Airport upon his return to the Philippines from exile. This sparked widespread protests and condemnation of Marcos' regime. In February 1986, following allegations of election fraud, a peaceful revolution known as the People Power Revolution was staged, and Marcos was forced to flee the Philippines with his family. He went into exile in Hawaii, where he died on September 28, 1989. Despite his controversial legacy, Marcos is remembered for his contributions to the country's infrastructure and agricultural development. Aside from his political career, Marcos also had a career in law, graduating from the University of the Philippines College of Law in 1939. He also served as a soldier in the Philippine Army during World War II, rising to the rank of major. During his presidency, Marcos implemented various social programs, such as the Kilusang Kabuhayan at Kanlaran, Movement for Livelihood and Progress, which aimed to provide livelihood and employment opportunities for Filipinos. He also established the Ministry of Human Settlements, which aimed to provide low-cost housing for Filipinos. Marcos was also known for his foreign policy initiatives, particularly his efforts to strengthen ties with the United States and other Western countries. He was one of the founding members of the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, ASEAN, and he played a key role in the establishment of the new International Economic Order, which sought to address the economic imbalances between developed and developing countries. The Marcos regime's legacy also had a lasting impact on Philippine society, particularly in the areas of media and journalism. The Marcos regime also had a significant impact on Philippine art and culture. Marcos and his wife, Imelda, were both known for their patronage of the arts, particularly the visual arts. Marcos implemented various economic policies aimed at promoting industrialization and economic growth, including the establishment of export processing zones and the nationalization of key industries such as oil and telecommunications. Today, the Philippines is a vibrant democracy with a free press, a diverse political landscape, and a strong civil society. However, many challenges remain, including poverty, corruption, and ongoing human rights abuses. During his presidency, Marcos was known for his close ties with the United States, which provided significant military and economic aid to the Philippines. He also pursued a policy of non-alignment, seeking to maintain friendly relations with both the West and communist countries such as China and the Soviet Union. However, Marcos' foreign policy initiatives were also controversial, particularly his handling of the country's territorial disputes with neighboring countries. In the early 1970s, Marcos declared martial law in response to a growing communist insurgency and Muslim separatist movement in the southern Philippines. This led to a deterioration of relations with neighboring Malaysia, which was concerned about the impact of the conflict on its own Muslim minority population. Marcos also became embroiled in a long-standing territorial dispute with Vietnam over the Spratly Islands in the South China Sea. In 1975, the Marcos regime deployed troops to the islands, sparking a conflict with Vietnam that lasted for several years. The dispute remains unresolved to this day and continues to be a source of tension in the region. Despite these controversies, Marcos' foreign policy legacy also includes important achievements, such as his role in founding the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, ASEAN, and his efforts to promote regional cooperation and integration. Today, the Philippines remains an active participant in ASEAN and other regional organizations, and continues to pursue a policy of non-alignment and friendly relations with all countries. Another important aspect of Marcos' legacy is his impact on Philippine infrastructure development. During his presidency, Marcos initiated various infrastructure projects aimed at modernizing the country's transportation, communication, and energy systems. These projects included the construction of major highways and bridges, the expansion of the country's seaports and airports, and the establishment of new power plants and energy facilities. While these initiatives did help to improve the country's infrastructure and facilitate economic growth, they were also criticized for their high cost and their impact on the environment and local communities. Despite these challenges, the infrastructure development programs of the Marcos regime laid the groundwork for continued investment and growth in the decades that followed. Today, the Philippines continues to prioritize infrastructure development as a key driver of economic growth and development, and the government has launched various initiatives aimed at improving the country's transportation, communication, and energy systems. Overall, the legacy of Ferdinand Marcos is complex and multifaceted, encompassing a range of political, economic, cultural, and social impacts.